Our team gathered together and we all decided to come down and discuss about ideas for application. Okay. We've all brought up many different kinds of ideas. However, we also realized that most of the ideas that we came up with are not very useful, or even most of the existing ideas that we have already been existed. Therefore, few hours have passed and we didn't manage to come up with good ideas. And soon it was lunchtime and we all started to become hungry. And then started to ask one another, what kind of food shall we eat? What type of food shall we eat? You know, and all started brainstorming about what kind of food we want to eat as well. Atu, our friend, prefers vegetarian food, and he wants to have more vegetables for his meal. But our friend Mark, he prefers Western food because he would like to have more meat. Then suddenly, within the spot of the moment, aha! This is it. NES foodie shall be our idea. Sometimes ideas are actually in front of us, just that we're usually not aware of it. Right? So for today's agenda, I'll explain to you why we chose NUS foodie. Alright? And we also show you what kind of features that we have to offer, and also discuss about the platforms that we have used, and not forgetting our architecture design. Last but not least, we will end with our video presentation, and all our questions will be reserved for the Q&A. Okay. So, there are so many foreigners in Singapore, and we typically remember that Singapore is not only well known for its clean and green country, but it also has many delicious foods. All right, Singapore has a wide variety of food delicacies. And why is it that NUS has so many students, yet it is not promoting the nice food that it has? Right? Research has shown that good food choices actually increase work productivity. And therefore, we think that it is about time NUS should have a good food app to enhance students' food experience. So our concept is based on 3 motivations. We want to think about food that we want to eat and the type of food. And we also want to know about the prices, as well as for us to make us have better decisions about food. Next, we will also want to know more about where we can find these foods. And location is very important to us. All right? Also, humans are very social beings. We want to let our friends know about all these great foods, and as well as share with them for all the nice foods. And store owners will also want to actually know more about the student preferences, as well as the food that they like or dislikes. Right? So our app today, for today, if you actually get our app, we actually offer a food directory for NUS, as well as the reviews and the ratings that other users have actually commented. All right? And not forgetting, users can also stand to have discounts and also save money with all the promotions that we have for notifications to our users. We also have search tools so that users are able to search for the food that they have. And we also have an offline mode and a map tool as well. So let me take you a tour of our app. So as you can see, our food directory is based on 3 level of designs. So the first one will be the locations, as you can see on the left-hand side. It's actually a list of all the locations in NUS. So for common user, he'll probably want to know where can we find the food for a particular location first. All right? From each location, when the user selects, it will bring them to the list of food outlets for a particular location. So let's say, for example, a Faculty of Engineering. And these are the list of outlets that are available for the user. Okay? And the users are also able to refer to the opening hours. So let's say, for example, if the McDonald's is open from 8 to 5. All right? So they can see whether is it available or not. So when they go into the particular outlet, they're able to see a list of foods that are available to these users. And they can actually refer to the number of votes, whether has it popular, and the price as well. Okay? Not forgetting, let's say on the other hand, if a user prefers to search for their favorite food, let's say for example chicken rice, they can actually key in the field, and they can also categorize according to their category panel. So it can be categorized according to the food, the cuisines, and also the location types. So it's very intuitive for the user. So the user also stands to be able to send reviews and comments the food that they like, and also like or dislike the particular food. Not forgetting, they can also share by email as well as post photos that they have online. So this is a particular screen for the food description. So when the user selects the fish and chips, for example, he gets to see the description of the particular food, fish and chips. And there's also an array of buttons for him to share and even post photos. So below are actually a list of comments that have been posted by previous few users. So when he clicks on a particular review, he gets to see the list of the photos that the user has posted as well as his comment. So from these screens, the user is actually able to make a good decisions about a particular food. So next, we also have promotions. And users are able to have special discounts occasionally or periodically from these food outlets. So let's say, for example, McDonald's is having a buy one, get one free burger. All right? And these notifications are actually broadcasted to all our iPhone users. And when they refer to these promotions, they can actually redeem these vouchers or coupons from our iPhone apps. And not forgetting our map tool as well. If a user is not able to find any food outlets around us, it's not really very visible, he's able to refer to our map applications and look at the food outlets around his location. So what happens is, there's this one, the middle icon is actually where the current user is, and there are actually map annotations to mark the other food outlets around him. So these are the platforms that we have actually used for our iPhone application. We actually made use of the Facebook API so that users are actually able to log in using their Facebook account. On the other hand, we have also used the Apple notification system so that they are able to broadcast promotional offers to all our users. And not forgetting the camera functionality as well. The user is able to capture each of the pictures that they have or tried in the food and actually post it online. And they can also share their comments and reviews through email. And we also made use of this network reachability functionality of the iPhone to actually track the offline mode for the user. All right? And our map capabilities actually make use of the location-based services to trace the current location of the user. And not forgetting our multi-tiered layer of architecture. Our architecture design is actually based on 3 layers: the database, the server, as well as the client. So as you can see, the client is actually leveraging on our Rails web server to obtain data from our database. And we actually use the Apple notification system to broadcast promotional offers to our users. And we also have the portal to key in information for our administrators. For the administrator features, it's actually an online platform, and users are able to add in new stores, let's say if there are new changes to the food outlets, and also amend prices and even the food details. So this is actually very helpful for administrators to update the data. And these are some of the enhancements that we have proposed. We can actually improve our user profile to make it more advanced, such as showing more information, such as more suggestions as a list of comments that the user has posted. And we can also provide a direct access to store owners so that they are able to update their data easily and immediately. And we can also improve our web interface to make it more user-friendly as well as more intuitive for our users. And not forgetting that all the amount of data that we have consolidated, we can actually use it for analytics and discover new data. All right. So for example, one of the improvements that we have is the user profile. We can actually highlight a list of favorites that the user likes for a particular food, or maybe a user food types. And we can also have an achievement-based system where the user will be ranked according to achievements by the number of posts that he has. So I would like to end with my conclusion is that our app is actually a first of its kind. And do you know that there are actually 40 over outlets in NUS? All right? And our app will actually be able to show all the list of outlets that NUS provides. And if you notice, our application is actually based on familiar color codes, which is the NUS color codes such as the orange and the blue. so that it actually gives a familiarity with our NUS users for the students and the staff. So definitely it's very user-friendly. And we also want it to be a day-to-day use where users can actually make use of it as when they go for their meals, and they can use it to enhance their food experience for our 40 over thousands users in NUS. And not forgetting our platform extensibility. We actually make use of reusable components so that all these components that we have in our server side is able to port over to other platforms such as the Android and, of course, the Windows Mobile, and, of course, the BlackBerry as well. So I'd like to move on to the video presentation for our application to explain more about our app. So, did you have a good lunch today? Thank you.
So, who keeps the directory updated? The food directory.
Basically, like a directory is maintaining on the server side. So we have given the basic online platform where the administration can just update the list of the directories.
Can we see?
Yeah, you want to see the online portal, right?
Yeah.
It's very basic because
That's
we focused
fine.
on the app.
Nobody's shown us an online administrative portal yet.
Yeah.
We actually use our online platform to actually update data, like doing data entry from mobile now. So the intention here is that we want to update foods. Let's say, for example, we go over to NOH, for example, a food outlet, and we notice that they actually new food stores.
New food stores, right?
Yes, correct. So what happen is, what we'll do is we can actually access this portal online, and we can key in this data, or maybe amend some data. Let's say, for example, there's a change in prices. Yeah. So on the other hand, what happen is, once these data are updated, okay, you'll be updated in a database.
Okay.
And users are actually able to see the new data.
So at the moment, it's just you guys who go around keeping this database.
Yes.
Yes.
We also have this feedback system, so that let's say, for example, if users actually happen to say, hey, there's a new store over there, they can actually send a feedback to us, and once we receive it, we can actually update accordingly.
Okay, very nice.
Need to project on the screen, right?
Okay.
How long do you plan on maintaining this?
Maintaining in what sense?
Because I mean, by the time you graduate, I don't think you would, start
Actually, we
working.
are here for like next 1 more year.
Right.
Like yeah, we'll get our post graduation by like July.
From my understanding, in this iCreate competition is that this will actually be under the purview of iCreate, the CIT, right, Computer ID System Center. So we actually provide this platform for them as well to actually update information. In the future, we actually did suggest that we can actually provide this platform for the store owners to also update this information. Let's say if they have themselves want to innovate and come up with new
So that
food
you can
items.
set multiple admins.
Yes.
There's a lot of competition in this
Can
space.
we show a
How do you
laptop?
guys
Actually, we are not able to connect.
how do you guys stand out from the competition?
Pardon?
How do you stand out from the competition? There's a lot of competition in this space.
Yeah. In a sense, we find that this is actually a strong point for us because this is our first of a kind food app in the US, and nobody else has really come up with things like food. And we realized that food is actually a very important.
So like Hungry Goware doesn't have NUS food facilities?
Actually, it does have amazingly. However, the key differentiator between Hungry Goware and our app is that ours is very consumer oriented in the sense that you actually want the type of food and the particular food details. Hungry Goware only provides details up to the outlet level. That means, for example, the restaurant. They didn't provide the list of food details that they have, like for example the menu. What we stand to offer is that as a user myself, I want to look for the food and not just the outlet particulars.
And also all the outlets in NUS are not listed in Hungry Goware.
So for example, in the canteen environment, we can see all the list of stalls and each of the food that they actually sell, like for example chicken rice, duck rice, all is stated in our application.
I think I agree with Ben that it's a very competitive space, and if you're going to compare feature for feature with say Hungry Goware or Purple or any of the other social food apps, you're going to find that everything you've got is a subset or superset somewhere else. So probably what might be more interesting is if we find a way to make it unique and special to NUS. Student recommendations, or tie it in somehow with, I don't know, student life to make it more relevant. Otherwise you are competing in quite a difficult space, a competitive space.
Yes.
But basically, this app is only focused for NUS. Like it does not contain any food outlet outside the NUS. And
That's like having a Facebook for senior people. They'd still go back to Facebook, right?
I think our first initial consideration was we probably want to start small first.
Mm.
Then we can actually think of more features to actually add on.
Yeah, I think the point is that it's not so much about the features. Your feature set is very good and it's actually quite competitive even if you take it out of NUS. My suggestion would be to make it special to NUS so that you aren't competing with Hungry Go and the like again. It might be actually reducing the features, it might be adding in some special particular feature that is only useful for NUS.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just an add-on. Earlier on, you had a video on sending an email to Irene, right,
Yes.
to recommend.
Yes.
So and the problem that she had was she doesn't have the app installed on her phone. So you might want to add a link to the email so that when she reads the email on her phone, tapping on the link will bring her to the app store, install the app straight away.
Yes.
So that might be more convenient.
Yes.
And then you might want to use push notifications to detect if the user that you're trying to send to already has got an app installed on the phone. Just directly send a push notifications to that user directly and say, okay, this is the recommendation that I have for you.
Yeah.
So that might be one way you can improve on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you launched?
No. We are waiting for your approval.
Oh, you don't need our approval to launch it.
Anyway, we really think that this is actually a very innovative app because so far nobody is able to actually find food, and we always ask one another where can we find Indian pangan or grilled chicken rice and all that.
So every time your application launches, you actually go to the server and fetch
Yes.
the latest
Yes.
copy, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And one of the good uses of this, suppose every year and every month, like interns come, joinees come.
Right.
Generally, they are not aware where they can get the good food inside NUS.
Right.
Suppose I want to search for a good Indian food. Maybe I am aware of 1 or 2 stalls which are near to my place. But again, this will provide them all the ratings and where they can have good food.
In fact, we ourselves found the most of the food stall while developing this application only.
Okay.
Your application is very based on user reviews and user comments, on user updates, etc. So you have to have a plan on how to market your app. Because I think if you don't have enough users, it's just also going to die down,
Actually, yesterday we did a kind of survey, but we haven't mentioned it here. Like we went to one deck and terrace, and there we just discussed with the students how is their feedback. So they kind of liked it. Means that they liked it. Okay, that's good. We are focusing on the students' food experience actually.
Right. So I was thinking over time, I think your application is going to collect a lot of useful data. So how can your application actually make use of the data that you've collected over time? So one very simple feature would be to let the user choose, okay, today I'm in a mood for Malay food,
Okay.
and my budget is $4 to $5.
Okay.
And then you, based on the data that you have collected so far, pop up a list of suggestions based on user reviews, all the top suggestions.
Yes.
That might be
Advanced
one
search.
way. So you got to think very hard. What are the other things that you can actually do in order to make full use of the data that you collected?
Yes.
Okay.
So.
And that will also help make it more student lifestyle related and differentiate itself from everything else that's out there. Because for example, Hungry Go Where or whatever, even the social ones are probably not going to take into account semester, term times, off term, when they're open, when the canteen is empty, that sort of thing. Those are things that you might look at including to differentiate yourself from Hungry Go Where.
Because at this moment, I think the way I look at it is like, the user must be very proactive in using your app. So why not make your app really active and try to guess what the user is trying to eat and then make some suggestions? I think that might be useful. And that's one way to differentiate yourself from the competitors. That's my
Actually, we thought of doing that thing in like a future enhancement. Like we have mentioned advanced profiling.
Sure.
So in that advanced user, like we will recommend, like based on the users like, dislike, comments, we will recommend him the food that he wants.
And you mentioned that you are integrated with Facebook, right? So can I post a recommendation on my Facebook page?
Right now, authentication is being done with Facebook, but other.
But
we
I cannot
share.
post my recommendation?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we thought if we are like it's NUS specific and students will be having an app, then
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Good.
One of you wants to quickly show us the admin photo.
Yeah, see for example, this is the list of all the stalls. Now if you want to show the details, like okay, what is the stall details and everything, like here you got the list of all the stalls which are there, Then later on you can go here and you can then edit if you want to edit some information, something like that. And then if you want to delete something, then you can
actually edit the ranking, so people can actually pay you to rank
this
themselves.
is this is for admin purpose actually. This is for admin purpose.
Yep.
And later on we can, like we were developers, so we had to do testing. So later on we can disable few text fields so that they are not editable.
Yeah.
So these kind of feature is available for all the data.
Okay.
I think the suggestion you're hearing from us is that eventually this is done away with and it becomes a peer-to-peer kind of thing. People rank up, people add, people edit, and people update. So you don't have to worry about CIT being responsible for the information, nor about when you graduate who's going to update the latest stalls.
Yeah. And one more, if you have noticed, we mentioned one feature like we want stall owners to use our app. For example, if we want to include facility for stall owners to update this. So like we will stall owners, what we'll do, we will create the access account. Later on they will be able to update this data. Suppose
Yeah,
Western stall is there, I am the owner of stall and I want to change the price. Then they won't have to go through the admin process. Like something can be done,
Like
that feature
That's
can be
assuming
added.
that all stall owners are savvy with the web and know how to use and log in.
Yeah,
not
means
the iPhone itself, in iPhone.
Yeah,
The phone
just the
itself.
phone.
Also,
Yeah.
they must have an iPhone.
yeah, if they have not, then they have to use this.
Okay.
Well, it's beyond being savvy. It's actually incentivizing them to use it, which is really hard because they've got other things to worry about. I mean, just on the promotion side alone,
Okay.
that's a big piece to convince people to put their promotions because there's lots of other platforms trying to do that. I keep finding myself thinking that if this is going to work for you guys, I think what I'm hearing is that the differentiator is the level of detail that you go to.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where, like you say, differentiating for NUS is not only what are the stalls, what's the menu, what's the price. And the reason that nobody else does that is because it can't scale. Like that level of detail can't scale.
Yeah.
Right? But if you do it locally within a school, and within this like local geography, you can scale even if you have to go do it manually, right? But I think long term, if you're to succeed, if this is to be sustainable, you're going to have to get a lot more open with it and allow the public to edit anything and add anything without approvals and without anything in the
Okay.
way, and let the community sustain it,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
Because I think if you say like, yeah, add something, and then it emails you, and then you approve it and you edit it, it's just not really sustainable.
Actually, we were not sure about the NUS process. Like if we put the app, then who will be the owner of the app? Whether the user should have the absolute right to do the admin purpose.
Yeah.
We were not sure actually.
But the thing is, like,
that doesn't need to be an admin.
Yeah.
Do it
Right.
Reddit style, for example.
Okay.
People vote up what they like.
Okay.
yeah, I think I agree, and I think you just have to seed it. You have to kickstart it.
Yeah.
And just go and I think you've done that already, but just manually put in as much as you possibly can,
Yeah.
and then let anybody maintain it.
Okay. Yeah.
So
You know,
suggestions.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I mean, because always the fear of being so open is that somebody's going to mess something up or put something wrong, but then somebody else will fix it, like Wikipedia, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Wikipedia.
So, but I mean, I think it's cool. I think down to that level of detail is interesting. The big question is does it really matter? And you'll find out. See if anybody uses it. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I see
Like-
a quick demo?
Sure.
Sorry, did we?
Sure. Yeah. No, good.
You have a live copy
Yeah,
or a
we have in
simulator?
mobile,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's have a look.
How do you show?
Okay.
Okay, so for a start, you can see that this is actually our food directory. Okay, you can actually scroll up and down from this table view. Yeah, so as you actually drill down accordingly to the different levels, it actually goes into more details. Like this is actually the food outlets available for a particular location. You can see it's actually the opening hours, and this is actually the particular food of the stalls actually. And you can see it's actually categorized according to the different cuisines. So inside this food detail, you can actually see the summary of the votes as well as the prices. Alright, so it's actually intuitive for the user to really decide the food experience.
Do all these votes for the individual menu items accumulate up to the restaurant level? So I can see that a restaurant has 100 food votes.
Actually, we did consider, but we were actually trying to think that the the size is not very conducive to actually put in a lot of information. So we decided to show the opening hours, but it's possible. It's possible for us. Yeah. We actually did play around with the
Maybe
interface.
we can display this information one level up. Means,
That's
like you mentioned.
This thing too is like, because you kind of come in straight into a listing of locations, but you don't need to. I think you can start off by detecting their location and not really asking them, and just make some assumptions that's like. So when a user opens this, like you guys, they're hungry, they're looking for lunch, just jump straight into, here's the restaurants closest to you right now.
Okay.
Like give them something where they can just straight away.
Okay.
If they wanted to, they could see the one at the top of the list and they could just go to it without going any further, right? And then if they want to dig further and they want to see the list of locations or they want to go kind of all into it, they can. But like, let them like reduce the sort of access to what they really want from the get-go.
Yeah.
You know, don't make them dig too much.
We can also like further going to further, we can actually show him or recommend him a list of his favorite food as well. Yeah. So this is actually the food details screen. You can see there's a short description about the food itself, so that the user is able to see the flavor and as well as the price and category. And this is actually the votes. So this is actually the comment screen where the user will actually key in his comment. Right, so you can key in basically anything, and you can also post a photo that you have taken of it from somewhere. You can post it up. Or you can take an instant screen from the camera, and instantly you'll be inside our panel. Okay?
Just remember too, not everybody has a microscope, so it's kind of small. It's hard to read.
You may also add a feature like, you know Amazon.com, when you buy something, they said, oh, you may also like whatever. So when I look at this item, they say, oh, you may also like another choices.
Recommendations.
I think these are very, very powerful tools to actually promote your food.
Actually, we do have this idea as well, like the recommendations and suggestions.
Right.
Yeah, but actually initially, because we don't really have a lot of data yet, so currently it's very hard for us to continue from there. So only after we have launched this, then we're probably able to find
Correct. And then over time, I think based on the so-called browsing pattern of the user, you may more or less know what is the preference of this particular user, and then that will help you to actually make more relevant recommendations to the user. So these are the things you can do.
Quickly look at the search and the map functions. Okay,
So this is actually the search screen. So on top is where the user will type in the keyword that you would like to search.
I like your icons, but it tends to be a little bit busy. You might try and simplify that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
For example, I don't know what the green
Yeah,
cuisine.
what's the green cuisine thing?
Oh, it's actually the type of food. You know, like
Yeah.
Indonesian food, Western food, Chinese
Oh.
food. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually the label. So you see on the right, there's
You
this
probably
text.
didn't need
There's
the
big
label.
Initially, I thought that you can press on it and you can smell the food.
That would be a good suggestion.
That's it.
Yeah.
iPhone 5.
Yeah.
And the map?
Yeah,
With the
map.
map feature.
Can I show the map? So this is actually displays the current location.
Yeah.
Then you can see when you click on this, it actually shows you that you are here.
Yeah. Like,
Easy identifiable.
like Ben was saying earlier, maybe you need to start off with this screen and with some icons that map which your favorites are, which is less crowded or something like that. So
Okay.
it's easy for
Yes.
the user to
Yes.
immediately see. Promotions, I think you showed it in your video, but let's have a quick look.
Yes.
Ah,
Actually, these
okay.
are the current promotions that we
These are the
actually have.
promotions.
So the user can actually refer to these promotions to look at what kind of vouchers that they want to redeem. Yeah.
Who will update the promotions?
Basically, whenever the admin will create a promotion, then automatically the notification will be sent to all the iPhone users. You just have to create the promotion like I showed you in the web portal.
Yeah, I'd be really careful with that. You could lose a lot of users if you bug them too much.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, if something popped up to me that wasn't relevant, I'd probably just delete the app. And that's just me, maybe I'm a little extreme, but the promotions is hard because there has to be a redemption mechanism on the back end. There's a lot of logistics for the owner of the restaurant. Sometimes it doesn't always have to be a lot of logistics, but you might want to go about this one carefully and sort of talk to as many owners of restaurants as you can
Yeah.
and see, would they use it? Do they already have promotion mechanisms? If they do, what could you do better? Are they interested in having another one? Because there's so many promotion mechanisms out there,
Yes.
tons of them.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd just sort of look into that one a bit before you implement it.
I think promotion is something that you can also rely on the users using crowdsourcing. So for example, if I go to McDonald's, I know that today there's a promotion. I might want to just take a picture or whatever and share with everybody,
Okay.
all the users of this app. So I can just post it out there, and then users of this application might come across it and say, oh, okay, there's something shared by somebody.
Okay.
So that might be useful as well.
Yeah.
Instead of relying on an administrator to do all this promotions for you.
What does the info button do?
Basically,
Oh.
basically it contains like user provide if you want to send feedback.
What is user achievement and food achievement?
These are for actually future enhancement. We just put it like
Is it gamification or?
no,
Or
not
something
giving-
like the list of
yeah.
achievements that the user can achieve. Let's say if he posts like 300 over comments, you know, and he reach a certain
Yeah.
level.
So for example, just to motivate the students
Yes.
to give more comments, we can just
Yeah. Or even for the stores as well, like the stores has achieved like 600 over votes, so you probably have achieved a certain level.
So you basically count the amount of calories you have taken so far.
Well, actually, that reminds me, I was going to say, since you guys are getting granular and that's sort of your value add, you may even think about like healthiness ratings, something like that.
yeah.
Because one of the things you mentioned, like, is I think you mentioned something about food and the availability of food helping people be productive.
Yes, yes, yes.
Health is important, so I think that means we're over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks
Thank you.
for all the comments.